You say that you don't like them, but I see you all the time. Creep shit. You say that you don't like them, but I see you all the time. Creep shit. You say that you don't like them, but I see you all the time. Creep shit.
Hello everyone, and welcome to my presentation of my personal philosophy. Before I dive in and start getting everyone confused with some deep and profound thoughts, I wanted to take a moment to reflect on the content of the course and everything we have covered this year. Coming into this, I was somewhat doubtful that there would be much I would take away from it. I thought simply it was an elective that may be interesting and at best insightful. Instead, I have learned so much more than I thought, and I truly have a new perspective on my life. An analogy that we were told at the beginning of the course was that philosophy is like an iceberg, with any given quote being the visible part above water and the deep extensive part being not visible underwater. So with that being said, let's dive underwater and into my mind. For me, a large part of existence is knowing why you exist. In other words, what is the meaning of your life? Some people are nihilists who believe that life has no meaning, but that's a little dark if you ask me. Others like Plato and Aristotle are essentialists. To them, everyone is born with a soul, or as they called it, an essence. And because of this essence, you are given meaning. As much as I want to believe in people having a soul, this theory feels very restrictive to me, as you are simply given a purpose and have to follow it. I prefer to be able to determine my own meaning, and that is why I believe in existentialism. Existentialism runs on the simple belief that existence precedes essence. Instead of being born with a soul and a meaning, it is up to you and the actions that you take to shape that soul. At the end of the day, you are a set of unique and non-replicable particles in the humongous expanse of a universe. It is up to you to determine what path you take with this existence you have been given. I don't know how this makes you guys feel, but for me it's liberating. You don't have to bend to society's norms, get married, have kids, pursue specific careers. You can block all of that noise out because you determine your own plan of action. Of course, this doesn't mean your life is not influenced by outside sources at all. People like my parents and friends have taught me so much in life. It is just important to determine how much influence they have. It's like your parents always used to say, if your friends were all jumping off a cliff and told you to, would you? They may help you make some decisions, but you determine the final result. This is also why you shouldn't blame any bad things in your life on others. If you are the person who blames your situation on others, I believe you are denying reality, and in fact you don't want to make the effort to change. You may not realize it at the time, but there is always something you can do. An individual must learn to make the best of a bad situation. So now that I've established that you make your own meaning in life, how do you go about making it? Do you simply go around doing whatever it takes to reach these goals, regardless of what or who it affects? Or conversely, do you act in a way to not upset others, putting them in front of you? I believe that the answer is somewhere in the middle. Immanuel Kant had two theories of morals known as categorical imperatives and hypothetical imperatives. Kant sided more with categorical imperatives. These are rules that must be followed in every situation with no exceptions. He stated things like one should never steal, lie, or cheat, as they are considered morally wrong in every instance. While I do believe that these things are wrong, I don't think it's so cut and dry. I agree more with the latter theory he proposed, hypothetical imperatives. It states that when you make any moral decision, it is not in fact a moral choice at all, as it is contingent on your desires. Simply put, your personal desires affect the decisions you make, and this is unavoidable. It is completely normal to have bias in your decisions as you are trying to reach your goals in life. It is important to still respect others as they are also on their own personal journeys to attain their meaning in life. You should not hinder them as you wouldn't want them to hinder you. This is similar to the golden rule. This desire-based decision-making can be applied to some of the dilemmas we addressed in class. Let's apply it to abortion, for example. Someone who believes in categorical imperatives would argue that killing is always wrong, so thus, abortion is wrong. Me and other people who believe in hypothetical imperatives would say that yes, killing is wrong, but if it has a negative impact on the woman's life, she can make whatever choices are necessary for her. Similar logic is applied to the voluntary euthanasia argument. I'm going to steer a bit off topic here and tackle one of the big questions we have faced in this course. Does God exist? Coming into this class, my answer was no. Although my religion is Jewish, I was having trouble believing in the existence of a higher being. It just seemed so improbable, almost like a fairy tale, all the magic powers and all-knowingness. But now I can say that I have changed my mind. The main argument that changed my mind is the teleological evidence that God exists. The teleological argument can be most easily explained using something known as the watchmaker analogy. Suppose you find a watch in a forest. You pick it up and examine its intricate parts. Would you assume that it was something that just appeared randomly in the forest, or something that was made by someone for the specific purpose of telling time? Most people would say the latter. Now, if you apply this to our universe, the complex anatomy of organisms, the chemical reactions that are constantly occurring, it seems impossible that this simply came into existence without being made, similar to the watch. But still, one thing was bugging me. If God exists, why do so many horrible things exist in the world? War, famine, poverty, destruction. Why would someone or something with the power to make a perfect universe and who is supposed to be all good still make it flawed? I battled with this for a very long time, and then all of a sudden, it hit me. What if God doesn't care? Now, I know, that seems like a pretty big statement, but please bear with me for a second. If there is a higher being that is able of creating anything, who says that it had to have created the world with a purpose? Who is forcing it to abide by moral standards and make the world a perfect place? What if it made the universe simply because it could and desired to? It also lives by these quote-unquote hypothetical imperatives and desired to make a universe so it could simply sit back and observe. I actually really like this theory. It embraces the random chaos of life. Nothing is set in motion by some master plan, so you can just live your life and apply whatever meaning is valuable to you. So yeah, that's my philosophy. That's how I choose to lead my life. I know it got kind of deep there for a minute, but it's really important to evaluate every part of your existence. I guess in summary, I would say that lead the life you want to live. It may not be perfect, and sometimes, it might not even be fair, but keep faith that you control the end result. Don't get caught up in the little things, and try not to lose sight of the big picture, as hazy as it sometimes gets. Thank you all for listening.